just from falling close to the ground. Perish or try to fight it, parachute now. Last chance, the final moment, parachute now. And deliver us to the ground. I wanna pull the string. On and on, I feel the speed. Too far to break from pressure. Too much to bear.
What is good, everyone? This is Chris Parrish. This is episode 103 of the Chris Parrish podcast. How are we doing today? It's a good day. It's Grey Cup Sunday if you're a Canadian football fan, but if you're not, it's just a regular day in the NFL. But that's football. We talk wrestling here. But before we do that, let's give a big shout out to the people that helped bring this together. That's right, Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. If you want to check out and support both, you can please go to our website, turnbucklestudios.com. And guess what? You can do a plethora of things, whether it is check out all of our latest episodic shows, check out everyone involved, but you can also hit that join button and you could try to be a part of the team and part of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Beercade YEG is also the best place in Edmonton, Alberta to go check out WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views. If you're at 10544 82nd Avenue and you want to check out Beercade White, yes, that's right, Beercade White. That's what they're on socials. It's called that because they're on White App. That's what we call it. Beercade YEG is the place to be. You can check out all their amazing games. You can check out their great food. You can just check out a great place to go and have a lot of fun. I love going there, and I'm sure I'll be back there mostly, maybe for Survivor Series if they're having it. It's going to be a good one. We know this is called Ready for War. You might see it being W.A.R. That's only because some places didn't want the WAR. A little sensitive. I mean, come on. We're not talking about real war. We're talking about war games. That's right. WWE Survivor Series presents War Games in a few weeks, and we are here to talk about that. Among other things, we have CBRS Entertainment coming in. Chris Best, how are you doing today? Thanks for joining the show. So why don't we get right to it? Why don't we get right to previewing the War Game matches already? Because right now, Survivor Series is the only place to watch War Games, and they have 2 matches already slated because, let's face it, the show builds around the matches, man. Builds around the War Game matches. So let's talk about what they are. They have yet to be completely filled out, but we are starting to get a little bit of traction with it. So right now, we have both the men's and the women's War Game matches. Let's start with the women's. We have Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Io Sky, and do we have Charlotte Flair? We thought we did, but on Friday, she said she couldn't trust Rhea. She didn't know she could put that history behind. I think she's just coming around. She did it with Alexa Bliss, right? She wasn't sure if they're friends. She said they're friends now. So what makes her think she won't be a part of this War Games match? I don't think she'll miss it. So I'm keeping her in there. And they have one more spot on their team. And they're taking on the team of Lash Legend, Nia Jax, Asuka, and Kairi Sane, who also have one spot open. So it's going to be very intriguing to see who are those spots. There's been rumors that we could see AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Maybe we see a Jade Cargill and maybe Tiffany Stratton. Could we see others? We'll find out, I'm sure, in this next week with Raw and SmackDown. But let's talk about this match a little bit. Let's talk about how it all came together, because one of the biggest complaints about War Games is that the match is only there because it's that time of year. Sometimes these matches feel a little rushed and just put together. Sometimes you like how they're put together, they just feel rushed. Sometimes they feel a little sloppy. Let me know what you think. All I know is this is what's happening, and this is what's going down at Survivor Series. I know that you want to get some of your big time players in this match. That is why you got Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and the inclusion of Charlotte in this match. That is what you want. You want some of your top baby faces in this match, and you have it with those three. Yes, you have Alexa Bliss, but let's be honest, she hasn't been the most reliable, really, of the last few years. She's been away. Yes, she had a kid. Not taking anything away from that, but she came back at the Royal Rumble this past February, and she's been kind of a mainstay on the roster, but in a tag team form. But as a singles competitor, she's not really been the top woman. You know, people like girls like Tiffany Stratton, girls like Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Stephanie Vecchier, they have been the top names. And it's interesting because I think the Alexa Bliss and Charlotte tag team has been one that has allowed the women tag team titles up until this past Monday to be really regarded as important titles again. Now the Kabuki Warriors have that honor, as they did win the tag titles on Monday. And it's going to be a very interesting dynamic how Charlotte and Alexa Bliss coexist without the titles now. CBRS Entertainment coming in saying, unless Charlotte is actually hurt, which I haven't seen reports on, I feel like it's a fake out throw to throw off the other team. Yeah, could be. I also do think it showcases just how much the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte history matter. And then not only just matter in general, but matter to the individuals as well. I think one of the best things about what we've seen Charlotte this year is that we've been getting a lot more Ashley in the Charlotte character. We're getting a lot more of the human being. She's accepting Alexa Bliss in. She's been doing more Instagram, TikTok type videos. She's been very more open, and it's almost like she's letting her guard down a little bit. And because of that, it's been a very relatable. It's been very fresh for the character, but it's allowed her to really become a lot more accepted with the audience, because they just wanted to see who Charlotte Flair really is, not a fabricated version of what The Office wants. And I think this year we've been getting a lot of that with the tag team with Alexa Bliss. And I think the extension of showcasing what the matches with Rhea Ripley did to her, not only for her persona, but her emotions, just allows you to have that extra extension to caring about Charlotte. Because she might not be the most emotionally stable individual, and that's okay, because the best way to support that sometimes is by trying to understand it. And if you can understand that this does have an effect on her, you'll be a lot more supportive of it moving forward. It very much is a symbolism to sometimes an extreme act like war games or war in general bring unlikely duos together. And this one is Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I think when you're desperate, you do desperate things. And I think that is one thing Charlotte will be doing. She will not saying joining the team is desperate, but I think, what if Lash Legend, Nia Jax, Asuka, Kairi. They put her down 1 week, or they attack her or try to do that, and she's all by herself. She doesn't have anybody there, and she realizes this ain't going to be gone anytime soon. And the only way to actually get rid of it is by facing it and getting rid of it with the help that's around me. Because we all know a support system is very important, whether it's physical or emotional. You need that support system to get through those tough battles. Charlotte Flair and maybe her trust for Rhea could very well be that struggle that she's trying to overcome. And I think that's very important of a story that you're taking in with Charlotte. I think the one thing I do like about this women's war games is we're starting to kind of creep onto some individual storylines that we're getting. Obviously, we're seeing Charlotte back down on Friday. That confuses not only Rhea, Io, but really Alexa Bliss too, who thought they were always doing things together. She thought they were kind of there. They were going to do more stuff together. So she was a little bit disappointed with the decision Charlotte made. You also heard that Rhea Ripley said that she was willing to put the history aside for the greater good. And Charlotte said she couldn't do that yet. So right there, it gives you a lot of individual storylines with the people. With Io Sky, I think she just gets frustrated with the drama. You can tell that every time there's drama around, her tolerance and her patience level just diminishes that much more. So because of that, Io Sky just tries to challenge everyone. And she's been playing that peacekeeper role almost in a way, or that median role for a little while now. And for whatever reason, Io Sky being the voice of reason works. So allow it. And that's just on the babyface side of things. We then have the unholy alliance between the Kabuki Warriors with the newly kind of team in Nia Jax and Lash Legend. And let's talk about Nia Jax and Lash Legend for a bit, because that works right now. Lash Legend worked with Nia Jax, I think, for a while. We were wondering what the plan was for Nia Jax. Is she just going to randomly have matches with Tiffany Stratton all year? Where is kind of the direction? And then we see the inclusion of Lash Legend, which is very ironic because it didn't really seem that Lash Legend for the last little bit had a true direction in NXT. We all know that Lash Legend has the size, has the power, just didn't have a story, just didn't have something to sink her teeth in and really get going. But now you put her with somebody like Nia Jax, who for a while now has been very seasoned in the ring. We can all agree that Nia Jax has been getting insanely better in the ring. She's more confident than she's ever been. You mix that with somebody as hungry as Lash Legend, and now you have a newly fresh heel women's tag team who have something to prove. And it's almost like a fresh start for both of them in this tag team. And because of that, it allows them to do whatever they want. And they chose to go after then the WWE Women's Tag Team. And because of that, boom, they make a statement. So I really like the direction of where they're going, because now you've taken Nia away from singles competition, which I think is a smart move for the right now. You then introduce Lash Legend to the scene, and now they're this dominant force that came together. On the other side, you have the Kabuki Warriors, who are one of the most experienced tag team in WWE, and by far the most experienced women tag team in WWE. They recently won the tag team titles on Monday with the help of Lash Legend and Nia Jax against Charlotte and Alexa Bliss that allowed everything to tie together. And now that you have that, it allows Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, in my opinion, they want to go to war, want to fight, because they want those titles back. So I do think this is just a little bit of a misdirection when we eventually get Charlotte back in. Now, this also could be the foreshadows to maybe a Charlotte Flair heel turn. I want to put that out there because we all know that over time, Charlotte Flair has always worked better as a heel. So this very well could start that as well. But let's enjoy the ride that we have, because we all know there are a couple question marks in this match, and the playing who's it gonna be game is a lot more fun, as we did in the past. So who is the mystery partners for the Rhea, Bliss, Io, Charlotte for right now team with Lash, Nia, Asuka, and Kairi Sane? There are options. You can go Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, as Jade Cargill just defeated Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's title. You can go the Becky Lynch and AJ Leaf route because of their history and because they're two big names that you can add in. You could also throw in a Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer, where Nikki Bella just turned on Stephanie Vaquer on Monday, and it looks like she's going after her World Women's Championship. So I think the options there are endless. You have these. You can even do Chelsea Green and Julia, or really take the time to introduce an NXT feud that goes on. There really is a lot to go on. But I mean, I do think that if you really want to add some vicinity and some star power, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch is the right mix here. However, I think if you really want to keep AJ Lee in a special category, I don't think you add her in a War Games match. And no, I don't consider putting Maxine in there either. What I do think is the best form of anything is you add Jade Cargill to the women's team. I like the dominance that she's been giving us as of late. She won the championship in dominant way, and then she had a match against BFAB and won in dominant form. So if you're Lash Legend, Nia Jax, or the Kabuki Warriors, why aren't you trying to get Lash Legend in this? Or sorry, Jade Cargill in this match. It just makes all the sense in the world. And because of that, she doesn't have that much really go. She doesn't have anything concrete going on. So add Jade Cargill. And on the women's side, I think this could be a form of, she might be closer than you think. I think Bianca Belair makes all the sense when you think about people from the past of just about everyone in this match. We got Bianca Belair that fits the mold in a lot of this. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying what a surprise it would be if we get Bianca Belair as the fifth member. If you don't believe me, you want to say, no, she's not ready, fine. Then I think the one name that makes a lot of sense in here, and you don't have to force the story, you add a Stephanie Vaquer. You add the two champions in this match. You add those titles. And because of that, you then can extend the Stephanie and Nikki Bella storyline for right now. And that could resume the Monday after. And that's what I kind of feel how this match is going to break down in who these teams are going to be. Who I think wins, I think it's very simple. I have Team Rhea, Bliss, Io, Charlotte, and whoever coming out on top. This match, as we all know, kind of was put together because it needs to be put together. It is passable in a way of how things intertwined and came about. But because of a War Games match, there's nothing really on the line. There's not much really going on in the sense the winners don't get anything. So this is a case of put the babyface over, send him happy. I think I have Io Sky getting the pin on Lash Legend. It's War Games. I don't think you got to protect people. It's a cage match with weapons. People are going to go. People are going to get hurt. People are going to get bruised up. It's just the name of the game. And with that, we put a lot of time into that match. So what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to play a couple ad videos right now, just so we can get a little bit more rested for when we talk about the men's match. So before we do that, let's get a little bit of a visual appetite, not only for the Turnbuckle Studios calendar video, our weekly calendar video, but if you ever want to support the Turnbuckle affiliation program and the members of the Turnbuckle Studios, well, I mean, we have an online store, so you're going to want to check that out and see how you can do it. And then also, if you want to be a part of the Turnbuckle affiliation program, we got a video for that too. So please check out all of these videos and enjoy. And we'll be right back to talk a little bit more about Survivor Series War Games. It's not my best regal. I'm sorry.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafell.redbubble.com.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to go and check out all of that stuff and you want to go and support from a merchandise, from a product standpoint, that's right. This bad boy is from carlcarafell.redbubble.com, the online merchandise store for Turnbuckle Studios. And if you want to go and check out turnbucklestudios.com/join, that is the best way for that next step to become a member of the Turnbuckle affiliation program. That's right. We want to expand. We want to get some more help. We want to grow, and we only need to do that. And we can only do that with everyone joining. So come join and tap in. It'll be fun. We'll have some time, and let's understand this one thing. If we don't have fun doing this, it's not worth doing at all. And we can't do it without the amazing people that support us, because that is how we build a strong community. We are now going to talk about the men's Survivor Series War Games match, and I think this one is going to be a banger. I'm very curious to what everyone thinks, but right now, on the men's side, we do have the WWE World Champion CM Punk and the undisputed champion or universal champion, whatever they want to call that title, because they don't want to simplify it. We got Cody Rhodes, and they're joining up with main event Jey Uso. And as we found out on SmackDown, we also are getting a little bit of Big Jim in that match as well. Just like we're getting a little Bobby Stats, Bobby Petito coming in saying, hello. Hi, Bobby. How are you doing today? We're talking a little men's Survivor Series War Games match. Happy Sunday to you, too. Hope you're doing well. And that team is taking on the team of the Vision. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and as we saw on SmackDown, the inclusion of the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. And if there is a better addition than Drew McIntyre for that team, I want you to let me know what that could be, because my Lord, with Drew McIntyre getting suspended for going off the rails, claymoring the living, everlasting officiating crap out of a referee to break up what we had with a Cody Rhodes Aleister Black match, who, by the way, is my pick to be that fifth member for that team. I think it's very, very much a thing that we're going to get Aleister Black as a member of this team. Why? Because in the last few weeks, we've been seeing more from Aleister Black. And I like this, and I think it's by design. I think we're going to see Aleister Black on our screens more often in more prominent roles. And I can't think of a more prominent role than Survivor Series War Games. Bobby Petito's saying he likes Bronson Reed in the Vision. I think Bronson Reed in the Vision is fantastic as well. And I'm very intrigued with what the Vision is going to do post Seth Rollins. Now, we do have one spot open on the men's side. And I think everyone is saying, put your finger up and acknowledge your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And I do think we're on to something. However, I also think the Vision are up to something. And I wouldn't be surprised that, yes, we got the inclusion of Jimmy Uso, but I still don't think Jimmy Uso is going to make it to Survivor Series, because I believe the Vision are going to try to take Jimmy Uso out. And because of that, a Damian Priest steps in. And not only do we have Damian Priest, we have Roman Reigns joining Jey, joining Cody, joining Punk, and that would be your babyface team to go up against Drew, Logan, Braun, Bronson, and Aleister Black. That is what I'm picking for a Survivor Series War Games men's match. Let's have some fun. Who do you think will be the additions to the men's War Games match? Let me know in the comments. Bobby Stats is coming in saying, what if Brock Lesnar shows up at Survivor Series? Brock Lesnar in War Games is dangerous, Bobby. It's very dangerous. I don't know if the structure of War Games can handle Brock Lesnar. I just don't think so. What do you think? I mean, I think if you add Roman and Brock, you're adding the mega power names into this thing. So, yeah, I mean, Brock Lesnar would be pretty big. Chris Best coming in, and I honestly think John Cena might maybe jokingly the War Games match. Well, if you're gonna add John Cena, which by the way, congratulations, John Cena, on becoming Intercontinental Champion and a Grand Slam champion. You know, I always support the people who follow me on social media, and John Cena, you're getting there, kid. Good job. Just kidding. What a moment that was. Bobby, we can all guess. That's the fun part of this. We just don't know. We just never know what's going to happen. So we play that what if game. Why? Because it's fun. We play the what if game because it's wrestling. And it's always interesting to do a little bit of armchair quarterbacking when it comes to the WWE because just when you think you know the answer, they go and change the question. And that is why we always tune in every week. I'm just really intrigued with the direction here because this is the match where I don't think you need the baby faces to win. They won last year. I think a lot of us forget kind of last year, and I think that's a big issue with the War Games matches is as much as it's a chaotic, insane match to watch, everyone gets beat up. We tend to forget everything about what happens because at the end of the day, nobody on the winning team gets anything out of it. There's nothing on the line. There's nothing at stake. And I think that's something that really would make these matches better. So when it's all said and done, I do think we're going to see the Vision pull this one out. And I do think Braun Breaker is going to pin Roman Reigns to win War Games if they're both involved in this match. I don't see it any other way because I think slowly we're building to that Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker WrestleMania match. We all talked about the passing of the torch, whether it was John Cena and The Undertaker. We want to talk about John Cena with Cody Rhodes. We want to talk about The Rock and John Cena. We want to talk about Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. But what about Roman Reigns passing the torch of the next big thing that he got from Brock Lesnar to Braun Breaker? Chris Best coming in saying the one thing, or what you enjoy about War Games is the stories coming out of War Games. Well, and I think that's very important because, again, I think that goes and ties back into, do these matches come together too rushed? Should they be advertised maybe a month out and the Raws, the SmackDowns, potentially other shows like an NXT, if there's involvement there, you have all these shows to build the matches because then you have all this tension built up. And then now the weeks before the Raw and SmackDown, where who gets the advantage in this match, you're on pins and needles and excitement. The drama's built up. You need this. Everybody's involved. Everything gets chaotic. Somebody wins, but entire teams come out. And you have the big old-fashioned brouhaha. And now you just know that the War Games match is going to be insane. And we end the show with that siren, because our last fade to light moment of our weekly shows before the PLE is it's time for War Game. I think if we had a little bit more of a proper build, you would care about it more. But because that's not been a thing lately, I think to your point, the stories that come out are needed because it makes the match more definitive and is more, I guess it legitimizes War Games in the lineup of the yearly PLEs. So with all that and with everything coming in, let's talk about what can come out of War Games. I mentioned Braun Breaker potentially pinning Roman Reigns to beat that winning or be the winner of it. I think then he establishes himself as the main guy on this team. I think we can continue Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. We can have Bronson Reed maybe go up against Jey Uso or even CM Punk. And we can break off that for a bit. Man, imagine what a potential... Think about this. A potential tag match that pits Braun and Bronson up against Roman and CM Punk, and we have that as a tag match at the Royal Rumble. I think that'd be pretty damn good. And to think about, we are mere weeks away, not only from Survivor Series, but we are less than a month and a half left for the remainder of 2025. And then after that's all said and done, you're on the road to the Royal Rumble. So you get past this next 6 weeks and you're on the Royal Rumble pathway. Bobby, thank you so much. Bobby always does this. And everybody, you can do this as well. If you're watching the Chris Parrish podcast on YouTube, a great way to help the channel is by liking the video on it. You don't have to always share it. I'd appreciate it if you did. But just giving it a quick like, hitting that thumbs up notification is a great way to showcase your support for the Chris Parrish podcast. So, Bobby, I appreciate you so much for doing that. And thank you for doing that. You also want to hit that notification bell button to alert yourself every time that I go live on YouTube. That's a good way to go as well. So I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah, like, obviously we know the vision is going to be a main story on Raw. And we all know that. I think it's safe to say this ain't going to be a done deal after Survivor Series. This is going to continue in some form. But I think the questions are, how are we going to split off? How are we going to get there? And if we're already talking Royal Rumble in our near future, we all know that the Royal Rumble is the kickoff to the road of WrestleMania. So we are just climbing that hill. And we are going to be close to that road pretty soon. But let's enjoy the right now. Let's enjoy what we have. And that is War Games coming to you in, I believe, just a couple weeks. If I'm not mistaken. It's 29th? Is it 29th? I got Chris Bass and Bobby, in my chat. I'm sure one of them will give me the right date. Sorry, I'm a little jet lagged, everybody. I literally had a day trip, flew out 7 a.m. yesterday, got home at 9 o'clock p.m. It's been a while. But yeah, so those are the only 2 matches of War Games, Survivor Series War Games so far. So let's have some fun talking about some of the other matches that could happen. I know, Bess, you said John Cena in War Games I'm going to have John Cena pegged in a singles match, and I think this very well could be where he gives the rematch for the Intercontinental Championship to Dominic Mysterio. What we saw very much was John Cena won that championship, and it was a great moment. It completed the Grand Slam for him, but we saw a moment with Rey Mysterio. We saw a moment with John Cena and Rey Mysterio where Rey was thanking John for the lesson that he taught Dom. But John Cena said, he's a great kid. I just hope he got that. In terms of that lesson, I don't think that would have been said if there wasn't a bigger plan for Dominic Mysterio. We can also appreciate that being a throwback to, I believe it was 2011 or 2012, to when Rey Mysterio won the World Heavyweight title on, or the WWE title on Raw, and you had John Cena congratulating him. Do I think this is going to lead to a match with Rey Mysterio? Very well could. If, you know what, I'll put this on the line. I'm going to do an audible. I'm going to flip my opinion. It's going to be Rey Mysterio versus John Cena for the Intercontinental title at Survivor Series. And the reason why I say that is because then after Survivor Series, we can see Rey Mysterio winning the Intercontinental title. And then now we can then go into a title versus title match with Dom and Rey for the AAA Mega Championship versus the Intercontinental Championship, winner take all. And we can have that at a AAA show. Obviously, this is where you could either crown one or crown them all. I would crown Dom as that double champion again. We're right back. But then what we could have is that ultimate final blow-off match between Rey and Dom, as Dom is fighting for Lucha Libre. And it could be that if you're the best, that means that what I'm doing is in the past. So what I'll do is I'll put up my legacy against yours. And winner, once again, takes all. And that is when not only does Rey have his last match versus Dom, but that is where he hands Dom the mask. And that is a crowning achievement of Dom Mysterio, not only getting the Mysterio name all to his own, but then getting the respect from his father to where he then gives it back. And we then move forward with Dominic Mysterio as this mega babyface. So I have John Cena versus now Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Chris Best coming in saying, I got Dom possibly taking on Rey. I think Dom could pin the blame on Rey for losing the IC title. Yeah. The one thing I also want to add to this is, did anybody see the video of Dom after he lost the Intercontinental title, basically blaming the Judgment Day for not having his back? I think there's some sort of substance here. I actually wonder if Dom is at that point where he stops, or he's getting near the stopping of putting blame on other people. Because for a while, we've been getting used to Dom putting blame on someone. But if we're getting babyface Dom and we're going to get megastar Dom, I think for the first time he's going to put the blame directly on himself. So it's very interesting you brought that up in the pinning the blame, because I do think we're at a time now where maybe even his father, Ray, makes him realize that. Just like a true father, he actually gives the lesson to his son the way he always should have. I think together we may have put something together. Bobby coming in saying, I could see Dominic Mysterio leaving the Judgment Day. Absolutely. I think, okay, Bobby, I'm happy you said that, because I think one of the most amazing things about the Judgment Day as a group is that everybody has everybody who's joined them has gone on to bigger and better things. When Edge formed the group with Damian Priest and then with Rhea Ripley, let's look at the trajectory for those two individuals. We saw Rhea Ripley transcend and transition into what now is by far the most popular female wrestler on the roster. That is not even a question. It is a done deal. Then we saw Damian Priest go from somebody who was just lost in the mid card to becoming Money in the Bank and World Heavyweight Champion. We then saw Finn Balor come in, and that's really what took Edge out. We then got Finn stepping up in more roles, and he became more of a vindictive heel. He became more of a strategic heel. We saw the evolution of Finn Balor to the point where now we really see the true value of Finn Balor in all forms, opposed to him just being, I don't want to say a one-hit wonder, because he wasn't. But the aura of him being champion for one night, you don't care about that anymore. Because now we know that on any given night, he can challenge for the championship and could be a legit threat. I think he's really grown as a complete performer with his time in the Judgment Day. And then obviously because of that, we've seen the introduction to JD McDonough, and now his importance to it, to the point where he's getting complimented by John Cena on Raw during his speeches. He's getting complimented by just about everyone because of the work he's had. And then on top of that, let's add Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and they're all better after. Raquel Rodriguez is a staple, whether it's tag team wrestling or even just the growth of her as an individual performer. Liv Morgan became a household name in the women's division, and because of that, at one point last year, I thought she was the top star in the women's division. And then now you have Roxanne Perez, a great introduction to the main roster for her, and she has hit the ground running. And this is all because of keeping the Judgment Day together and just evolving what they are as a stable. So Bobby, just to take away from that one comment, I want to put emphasis on how important the Judgment Day as a group is. But Dominic Mysterio, we all have known his growth, and now I think he has outgrown the Judgment Day, and I do think he can now do what Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley have done, and that is walk away and be better off with it. So yeah, thank you for that comment. Chris Best coming in saying, I was going to say Finn could possibly be an opponent, but that might be a bit soon. Well, Finn very well could be the guy who faces John Cena on December 13th and take away that Intercontinental Championship if he still has it by then. And that, think about that for a second. Finn Balor winning the Last Time Is Now tournament, winning the Intercontinental Championship from John Cena, and then you have that face-to-face with Dom. I mean, that's a lot for that one moment. I'm aware of that, but what if? I'm also going to say this has been a crazy discussion too. Just based on a few comments, we were able to really deep dive into some true stories. So and just what if. So I thought that's fantastic. But we are getting near to that hour point. We do have time for one more thing, and I think what I do want to end this off with is talking about what we found out this past week, and that is Zach Ryder came back on Friday Night SmackDown. Woo, woo, woo. If I had more time, I probably would have worn my broski shirt. But who would have thought we would have saw that on Friday? That is absolutely crazy. We almost believed him when he said Zach Ryder is dead. And then for the one-time appearance, yes, one-time appearance, Zach Ryder came out and gave us a moment as he was the mystery opponent for LA Knight. And it was absolutely fantastic. And I think it was so smart in the way that he did it, because moving forward long term, if he's going to be Matt Cardona and be taken as a main eventer, that's all well and good. But Zach Ryder coming back for one show allowed him to get his foot back in the door. And it's Zach Ryder. He had fun. He was doing the Zach Ryder stuff. He could take a loss. It's fine. It's no big deal. He was caught up in the moment. Doesn't get caught up in the moment, the complete Matt Cardona. So I think this is a very interesting take for the performer. But yeah, as we saw, LA Knight did get the win. Does move up in the last time is now tournament. And we did see a little video on the socials with LA Knight and Zach Ryder as respect between the two was shown. So that was really cool. Yeah, Chelsea Green was probably very happy. And that's just, I think that was just really cool to see. And it was a great pull overall our eyes. We do have one more mystery opponent, and that comes Monday against Solo Sikoa. All eyes are on the man who Fightful claimed and reported signed this past week. And if you see his name, he may appear. Joe Hendry did sign with the WWE this past week. So congratulations to Joe Hendry for signing with the WWE. But that's exactly why I don't think he's the Solo Sikoa mystery opponent. I have a feeling John Cena might just host an open challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. And that's where I think Joe Hendry shows up, has that match. You can do that one-off because he does have some stuff going down in NXT. The one-off makes all the sense in the world. That way he doesn't have to win this tournament and be that last opponent, but he still gets that John Cena match, and it'll be live in Madison Square Garden on Monday. Yes, Matt Cardona, aka Zach Ryder, did sign a deal with WWE, a merchandising deal to move Zach Ryder gear, but let's also take this with a grain of salt. Matt Cardona does not own the rights to Zach Ryder. WWE does. So having the official merchandise deal allows both parties to create a little bit of money. Let's not sleep on how smart Matt Cardona is as a businessman. He's also made shirts from Joe Hendry's latest video mocking Chelsea Green getting a pie thrown in her face. And we saw a fake Matt Cardona with a shirt. Matt Cardona is now selling that shirt on his Pro Wrestling Tee store. Bobby, we do have Javon Evans coming in and facing Gunther on Raw already. I don't know if we'll get another NXT superstar, but if we did and we got someone to face Solo Sikoa, I would say it has to be a babyface name, but I just don't know if it'll be anyone there. I'll keep my, although, you know what? You could be right. But the question is who? I know can all say, well, it'll be Joe Hendry, but Yeah, I mean, it probably will be. But for me, I would just give Joe Hendry an opportunity to face John Cena for the Intercontinental title shot at Madison Square Garden because, well, sounds like something you would do with the guy who decided to open Randy or to answer Randy Orton's challenge at WrestleMania or to show up at the Royal Rumble as TNA heavyweight champion. To me, it just, I don't know. But we are at that time where we must say goodbye. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for joining us this week here on the Chris Parrish Podcast, episode 103, Ready for War. I do want to let everybody know that episode 104 will be coming to you next week, and it is properly called No Place Like Home. We'll talk more about Joe Hendry signing with WWE. We'll talk more about Zach Ryder and his surprise appearance with WWE and whether or not Matt Cardona is going to follow suit. Could we also, by this time, see a Chris Jericho reunion with WWE? That all is next week. But today, I just want to let everybody know that this was episode 103, Ready for War. And I just want to thank every single one of you for joining in and supporting the Chris Parrish Podcast. If you want to support everything I do, go check out my link tree at Chris Parrish and help support me there. You can go support me on Spotify as well as all my viewing platforms. So I just want to say thank you. Have a good rest of your Sunday, but more importantly, be yourself. Be happy and be healthy, because at the end of the day, you matter.
Ready